All right. Time to have a Warhammer discussion. When was the last time we had one of these? When was the last time we had one of these, huh? Been for fucking ever. It's been for fucking ever. So the way I'm going to structure this kind of video here is I figure we'll just take questions from chat and I will take a look at the rule book for Warhammer, the Old World. I have yet to even read it. Turin has read the balls off of it, so he has tons more of information, and he might pop in here, you know, because he's always looketh about. What's up, Elrath? How are you doing, man? And if you have any model-related questions, you can go ahead and ask me. I have models, not a whole ton. Well, that's not true. I have a shit ton. I have too many. And do this, and let me know if you want me to turn the music up or down, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead. I'm just gonna have this over here now. So we're gonna be looking at. So I have not put together a single model from this. I'm not gonna. I mean, dude, if you want, you can see I've got sprues, and I can show you sprues and stuff. But I don't think that's gonna be very exciting for you guys to see. Look at these. Look at this. Fuck. So, add this. Bag. Also weird bag. So I ordered. I remember for my 12th, 13th, or 14th birthday, I ordered a grip of Bretonians. They came in the bag like this. So, weird. But, trying to get down here, the old chicken dinner. Which is so much shit. Pull book out. Order it anymore. Here's this bad boy. Oof. Look at it. Sweet it looks. Oof. They like. You ever see people like open these? They open them like barbarians. All right, let's pop this open, and they like scratch it and stuff, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Did no one ever teach you to cherish the things that you purchased and or were given?
A wise decision.
Ooh. Dude, me too. The smell of like, especially there's just something about the printer that Games Workshop uses. It's like they put cocaine in the aerosol. The smell. That's how they do it. That's how we're buying so many of these goddamn miniatures. They put something in the smell of a brand new pack. So, really nice thing here, which I'm going to definitely get laminated, is who has laminated something in the last whatever years? It's a reference card like we used to have, right? 5th edition. 5th, 6th, and maybe 7th had reference cards that used to come with the rule books. They stopped them. They stopped them in 8th edition, and they stopped them in the 7th edition Warhammer 40K. They stopped doing these. This is a nice reference card, man. This is like, it's got a nice sheen to it. It has a light, what's it called? Not velvet. A satin finish, has a satin finish, is slightly matte, has a good card stock, and a good wobble. Those that have seen American Cycle will say that the color is bone. I can't believe he likes his business card more than mine. Paul Allen, I got seats at Dorsia. And we got the big bad boy. So, oh, hold on, let me ASMR you guys. Oh, I didn't have the crack I wanted it to have, you know? Hold on. Yeah, it didn't have any crack at all. Disappointing for me. All right, so it opens up the big old map, which I have the actual map if anyone wants to see it. So, again, yeah, right? Blew it hard. Hold on, let me. No, I don't know what you're talking about. That smell lasts forever. There was no crack. So do you guys want me to read lore, or do you guys want me to just jump right into the rules? What are you guys most curious about when it comes to Warhammer: The Old World? And I know most of you people are tuning in from Baldur's Gate 3. I did not expect this. I do not expect this to be any kind of large stream, but I figure for those that want to find out more about it and stuff like that, they're more than welcome to. Just jump into rules? Okay. Now, I have the 8th edition rules. Did it really say that? Oh, man, are you serious? Did we do the wrong one again? Studio. God, I used Restream, and I got high as fuck last night, and I screwed up setting this up. And it pisses me off on too many levels. Content. Live. Okay, good. Forever. Okay. Here we go. We're all good to go now. Roman's good. He's asleep at my feet right now. They changed the lore, not significantly in the sense that they've retconned things. Shield Wall of Dragons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do Bretonnian lore. What changed? And I'm going to do like, hey, here's the stuff that they've added. And for the most part, they haven't really done anything to the lore. Has the world timeline moved past 8th edition? No, this timeline is before 6th edition. So the world goes from 6th into 7th, right? And the world progresses. And then it gets a retcon back into 8. This is before Karl Franz. This is before the Great War of Chaos. Magnus the Pious or whatever the hell. Magnus the Pious, is that what I'm thinking of? No, that's the guy with the first first Vampire Wars. The guy who fought Asavar Kul. The guy who fights in the last big war. This is just around the beginning of that time. High Elves have made contact with Empire. Or at least they know of each other. They have 3 emperors. This is the time of 5 emperors. Age of 3 empires. So this is 1547 to 2304. And just to kind of give you an idea of when Karl Franzia starts ruling over the land, it's 2502. So Total War Warhammer 1, 2, and 3, for all intents and purposes, take place around then. So this is 200 years prior to that. So a lot of stuff hasn't really happened. The elves and will you be streaming painting on your models? Yeah, so that's another thing is I'll start plugging it more as we get a little more people here, but I have a second YouTube channel I've created to focus on board games. And I'm going to create videos like how to get into Warhammer in 2024, how to get into 40K in 2024. I won't be making videos on how to paint, but I will have painting streams because I'm not that good of a painter. Actually, I'm not that bad, but I'm definitely not good enough to instruct you. I understand like color theory, and I understand because that's my degree, and I understand like how to paint more than I understand like how to paint Warhammer. You know what I mean? I want to add. Okay, good. So I can't show you. So I have the PDFs of everything that they've released. So if you have any questions about rules of any races, let me know. I can tell you. I cannot show it to you for whatever reason, and I think it's because it's riddled with watermarks of my name. And I would, if I was a company, I would want the best representation of my product out, not a representation of my product riddled with the content creator's name. But again, elves have just kind of made contact with the Empire. They're just kind of starting to get into magic, stuff like that. So we are going right into the rules. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to straight up read you guys the rules. Page 91. Oh my God, dude. So if you're wondering about kind of what's going on, there are 76 pages of lore to give you an idea of what's going on. Yeah, that YouTube channel will also be geared towards kind of showing you also what, like, hey, here's how to play this board game. You want to play Gloomhaven? Here's my breakdown, which will be a little bit more scripted. Orange squatted and tossed into the legacy PDF. Okay, I'll survive. Okay, so I'm just going to start overview of the game, muster your forces, and we're going to go through it. If you have any, I'll keep looking at chat. If you have any questions, just go ahead and let me know. But we're 12 minutes and about 13 minutes into this. That's when I'll go ahead and kind of start a thing here. I'm going to actually probably don't need my background and everything here. There you go. So just go ahead and ask questions if you need them. And is this loud enough for you, bros? It's dark. It's not dark. No, I'm going to Warhammer 1. TOST. There's just something about Warhammer 3's OST. Just, you know what? We're going Warhammer 2 because it has the elves. Elves are the best one. I think 2 is the best of the 3 soundtracks. Okay. This page summarizes the sequence you will follow when playing a game of Warhammer the Old World and points you to the relevant parts of the book that explain how each stage works. To play a game of Warhammer the Old World, each player will need an army to command, so the first thing to do is assemble your forces. You can simply use all the models in the list to ensure that you're paid, blah, blah, blah. You know what? We don't need to do this. It's muster your forces, choose your scenario, set up the battlefield, deploy armies to battle aftermath. We all know that shit exists. General principles. Take backs and changing one's mind. That's like basically house rules. Unit may be required to move directly towards, directly away from an object. To do so, draw an imaginary line. Oh, you know what is an interesting thing here is on line of sight. And this is just pretty much going through general principles like dice. Okay, here's your D6, a D3, an artillery dice rolling, single die, stuff like that. I'm trying to see if it shows the most important rules of complex images. Templates. There's blast templates. There's scatter die. There's a risk of being hit. To determine which models risk being hit by a template, hold it in place and look to see which model's bases lie underneath. A model whose base lies completely underneath a template or partially underneath the temporal hole of a blast template is hit automatically. A model whose base lies partially underneath a template is hit on a D6 roll of 4 up. Wasn't that a modifier before? So, to illustrate this, there's the blast. There's two dips. There's a 3-inch and a 5-inch blast template, Giovanni. Here. To illustrate this, oop, for my little thingy thing. So what they're saying is, in this exact instance, anything directly under that blast template, and a model who's partially under, which in this case typically means 50%. So you saw that picture, and everything in a straight line down and a straight line across is at least fully or at least partially under. Or more than partially, like 50, like 70%, let's just say. Now the things on the wings, catty corner, in the upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right, those are about 50 to 30% coverage, meaning you'd have to roll now a D6 on a 4 up to hit. I remember that used to be it used to have a modifier, and I have the 8th edition rules right here that we can jump to at any point if we need to kind of compare and contrast. So, And it's just, okay, it's shooting. Here's all the shooting stuff. Yes, James Valdez. All of them. They have rules for every single one of them. They've got the legacy ones, and they've got the old, all the new stuff, and then they've got the arcane journals. They were hit no matter what. Even if they're partially under. Here, let's just jump to... Of course. I think I'm getting confused with like 6th or 7th edition, which, okay. This is movement? That's not what I wanted. This is way further down. Did I make my computer mad? What do you mean? I farted. How did you know that? There's so many rules in this fucking game. You guys have no idea. I think a lot of people forgot about the rules in this game. Although, there's a lot of rules. But I don't find them convoluted or hard to understand. What's up, J. Fred? What's up, Diversion? Yeah, I'm looking at the 8th edition rules, and it's not... Like, this is like blast templates. It's its own little category. I'm looking at shooting rules, and I don't see them. Alright, well, either way. So base sizes have very much changed in the old world. How do you eat your chili? You chew it. Yeah, I have the book. I've got the book. It's right here. I have a whole bunch, Anrak. I have the Bretonian boxes over there. Right here is a box with more Bretonian stuff and the Tomb King box. So if you guys want to see actual models, just let me know. We're going through rules. Someone specifically wanted me to go through the rules first. SP, are you still watching? And if you are, is there a specific rule you want me to touch on, man? I've kind of waffled and floundered all over the place, so I want to see if there's something specific you want to know about. So, model base sizes have changed a lot. Your standard 25mm is now 30mm requirement for your bases. So, there are a lot of base conversions out there you can buy, where you simply just take your base and put it into a new one, and it makes the base wider. Or you can just simply rebase them, whatever you want to do. Movement and line of sight. Okay. Specifically anything from those things. So line of sight I know changed. Turn and I were talking about it. Let me just go into that for you. We'll go into the formation units and stuff like that. So models, units, and facing, removing casualties. So removing casualties has changed too. Because of the way that it's implied the units come from the front. You know the rules for close combat and line of sight. Yeah, okay, I'll get all that. So yeah, line of sight has definitely changed. Okay, got all this fucking miscast, casting spells, magic, troop types at a glance, removing casualties, models and units facing, obscured line. Okay, line of sight. You will often need to determine if one model or unit has a line of sight to another. To check a line of sight between a model, stoop down to look from the model's point of view. If a straight, uninterrupted line can be drawn from within the model's vision arc to any part of the other model, there is a line of sight. Because remember, you have front, back, and your flanks, and that's in a 45-degree angle from the base of the model. A model, if no such line can be drawn to the other model due to intervening terrain or without crossing over or through another model, there is no line of sight. So, anything on the same height level does not work. You have to be shooting at something taller. You can't be taller than it. This won't work. So Shabti will not shoot over line infantry. It's got to be this way. Because I'm getting to that now. A model is always within its own vision arc and always has a line of sight up to itself and its unit. If at least one model in a unit has line of sight to at least one model from another unit, that unit can see the other unit. So, if I can see a block, if there's a block and it's hidden behind something, if I can see one model I can see the entire unit. So if it's a model of like, if it's a unit of, let's just say 40 and they're 10 by 4, whatever. If I can just see one model. And when I think of the word model, it's an unobscured view of 50+% of its base. Note that models and units always block line of sight. Therefore, it is normally only the models in front rank of a unit that have a line of sight. You have to be able to shoot at large creatures. You can only shoot at large creatures, basically, right? If at least one model is a unit, one model from a unit, then you can see the unit. Okay, obscured line of sight. Line of sight might be partly obscured by terrain features or by other models. In such cases, the other model or unit is said to be in cover. To check if a model or unit is in cover, stoop down to look from the first model's point of view. If the other model or unit is fully visible, they are not in cover. If up to half of the other model or unit is obscured, they are in partial cover. If more than half of the other model or unit is obscured, they're in full cover. So I would consider line of sight 5% of a model. What do you mean? Maybe 1%. So in this case, SP, if you can see 1% of the model, they are heavily obscured. They are in full cover. So cover then denotes a improvement to their save modifier, guys. Unless they've changed how that works. But that is how it works. So you either have full vision, 50% vision, or 75% vision, and then that confers any kind of cover bonuses. Let me see if cover bonuses I've already covered or passed. Well, yeah, 40k is different, right? 40k is like, yeah. Oh man, I can see the very tip of your fucking wave serpent. Sorry, bro. Gonna have to blow that up. Of course. Just the tip will do ya. And what did you want to know about movement, SP? So I can tell you in general, movement in this game is not like 40k, right? Where you move with coherency. You pretty much move your front unit and your back model, and you just kind of fill in between, right? That's how I always did. I'd pretty much move. If I had a block like this, move my front model 6 inches, move my back model 6 inches, and then make sure everything's within coherency from my left and right models. That's it. I mean, you don't need to get fancy with it. This, you can move things, and if you want to wheel, it costs movement. So either doing a partial turn is fine, but if a full 90-degree turn is going to cost you movement. And you can also march. So let me get to that section so you can hear about that. Spell casting, piled, the strategy phase, the turn sequence. Okay, so now we're into the turn sequence, movement phase, all that action. Did they add the 1-inch rule to 10th or 9th edition SP? I haven't played since 8th, but 40k has. It used to be if you were shy of it, if you were 1 inch shy, you were shy. You'd miss the charge. In this game, you can't be within 1 inch of something, so it's implied that if you fall 1 inch, your units meet. Okay, the movement phase. As movement is a vital part of the game, this section is broken down into 2 parts. The first gives an overview of the movement phase itself. The second explains movement in greater detail. As always, if you are not yet familiar with the game, be prepared to spend some time checking other sections of the rules as you read through this section. And if there's anything, got to be within 1 inch of combat. Okay, so if you are at 1 inch in this game, you pull it, you magnet it into combat. As with the, and also a big difference too, if you did not know this, you get your invuln save, and there's mortal wounds and stuff like that in 40k, right? There is no invuln save. Instead, there is a ward save. And you get your armor save or your invuln save, right? Here, you get your armor save and your ward save. So you can go through layers of saves to save something, which is cool. And there's no mortal wounds. There's no command points either, unless they've added it with Old World, but there's no command points. Those are kind of like your big key differences. And there's no shooting over things as you just kind of saw. Infantry blocks other infantry. The only time you can shoot something over your infantry is if they have the large target rule. Come on, Bath and fucking Body Works, you bitch. Oh. As with other phases of the game, the movement phase is broken down into 4 sub-phases. The units in your army can act in whatever order you wish within each sub-phase, providing that you complete one sub-phase before moving on to the next. Another quick thing is that, yeah, I do too. I do too. Oh, you can if you're Skaven. They have special rules for it. So one thing to kind of think about when you look at Warhammer rules compared to Warhammer 40k rules. When you read the Warhammer 40k rulebook, it says everything is assumed to be happening simultaneously. So if you have a unit, for example, who shoots 5 different types of guns, they're all assumed to be shot simultaneously. Everything in Warhammer Fantasy is sequential. It's assumed to go when it goes as it happens, not all at the same time. Which I don't really know why they've made that distinction. But you can get into some crazy entanglements with the rules of 40k, where I shot with this thing happened over here, these things triggered, there's a cascading effect. And you have to go simultaneously sequentially in those things, and it's fucking confusing. This is the thing that is shooting, it is shooting on its own, nothing else is doing its thing. Like, as far as the rules are concerned, there's no overlap. There's no, okay, but did this trigger over there? Nope, this is doing that. The things that trigger, they trigger immediately and do their thing. There's very few reactive stuff in this game. The reactive stuff is more like, oh, your Shield of Thorns, which does reactive damage, because it's a response to damage done, versus like, across the table, this happens. Okay. So, subphase 1, declare charges and charge reactions. The active player declares which of their units will charge, nominating one unit at a time, and indicating which enemy it will charge. Once all charges have been declared, the inactive player declares and resolves each charged unit's charge reaction. So your reaction can be to brace, it can be to do a whole bunch of different things. It can be to stand and shoot. We'll get to that once we get to it. Charge moves. Once all charges have been declared and all charge reactions have been resolved, the active player moves their charging units in an order of their choosing. So you could say, hey, I have from left to right 1, 2, 3, 4 units that are charging. You're going to have 4 units that are receiving, and you're going to say, hey, this unit over here is going to stand and shoot. We're going to brace, we're going to brace, we're going to stand and shoot. Those reactions resolve, because stand and shoot, you basically, SP stand and shoot is just like Overwatch for the most part. I don't remember if it's 6 to hit, but it is it is in the same regard. And then I will choose from my 4, not from left to right, which order I want to go in. So maybe I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I go 3, 2, 4, 1, whatever it is. Okay. Compulsory moves. Sometimes a player has no choice over whether or not to move a unit. For example, a fleeing unit is obliged to make a flee move. All compulsory moves are made during this subphase. Remaining moves. During this subphase, the active player advances their battle line, moving those units that did not move during the charge moves or compulsory moves subphase. So why it's important to have these things separated is you'll do your movements and you'll do any charges that you want to do. Then your charges will resolve as they resolve. And a charge resolving is not combat. It's, okay, I have charged into close combat here. We'll get to this at the combat phase. The charges will all move, and anything that's around the periphery or whatever that was fleeing will now do its fleeing moves, which are important because that will change the dynamic of a charge. If you have something that's in the way, you have to charge the closest. Like you can't say, hey, I want to charge this unit through that unit, those fleeing units. So you have to go right through it. Norska rulebook, no baby. This is the old world rulebook. The 1-inch rule. There is one rule of movement that applies throughout the game, the 1-inch rule. I got one of those. Quite simply, with the exception of units engaged in combat, no unit can end its movement within 1 inch of an enemy unit. Often a unit will have to move within 1 inch of another unit during its move. This is perfectly acceptable, provided that at the end of the movement, there is a 1 inch between it and any enemy units. At times, once movement is complete, players may have to nudge units further apart by the smallest amount possible to maintain this rule, and this is also perfectly acceptable. Both players should agree upon how to best do this and ensure neither gain any unfair advantage. Declare charges and charge reactions. At the start of your movement phase, the first thing you do is declare which units, if any, will charge. Units are not normally obliged to charge unless a special rule states otherwise. Charging is the only way for a unit to move itself into combat with the foe. If you want to engage an enemy in combat, then you must charge them. You cannot simply move into combat without having first declared a charge. To declare a charge, you must indicate which of your units is charging and which enemy is going to charge. It is going to charge. A charge unit is often referred to as the charge target. So, me being the aggressor, I am choosing you as the victim of my charge. You are the charge target. When you declare a charge, one or more of the models in your units must be able to draw a line of sight to the charge target. And the charge target must lie at least partially within the charging unit's front arc. Meaning that every single unit has a 45-degree angle in its front, its flank. God damn. Stupid fucking Age of Sigmar models. Where's my base? I need a base. Here's the model. This fucking Age of Sigmar model's got a round base, right? Here's the model. 45-degree arc from the edges of its base like that. 45-degree arc from the edge over here, and then vice versa on the other sides. This is your front, this is your rear, these are your flanks. And those are important for certain situations that happen when charging. So anything that is partially within that 45-degree arc is considered chargeable. You are always allowed to measure the distance between your unit and the potential charge target before declaring the charge. That's huge because in different editions of the game, you were not able to do that. In 7th edition, you had to guess your charge. In 40K 10th you can measure. I think 9th and 10th you can measure, and 7th you couldn't, or 8th you couldn't. I can't remember. But in some editions of the game, you cannot measure. You have to say, I'm going to charge that target. You're going to roll your die, and whatever that die number comes up with, you're going to measure, and if you didn't do it, you missed your charge and you'd move the distance. Head on over to Rain. Get some Rainstorm. Use Sparty code checkout me at Rain. I'm not sponsored at all. My first time with one of these. I give it so far like a peach nectarine flavor, like a 7 out of 10 on the tape flavor. Got a little bit on the back, tongue there, some fruity notes in the front end. Oh, I love grape flavored stuff. Old EHFB was a lot of guessing, yeah. Though you got great quick, you really did actually. It's just like the wounds. There it is. It's a hit chart. There. There. You'll memorize that natively. Like, just, it's super easy because all that caffeine's kicking in. So basically, to get back to this movement thing, but you compare weapon skill, and if it's the same, it's 4 up. Like if I have 4 and you have 4, then it's 4 up. And for every 1 I have over you, it goes down or up more, right? So if I've got 4 and you've got 3, it's a 3 up for me. If I've got 4 and you've got 5, it's still a 4 up. Then it's 6 up. What? Oh, target's weapon skill. Whoopsies. I was looking at this the opposite way. It basically compares your skill to their skill. And you can, it's pretty much 4 up is the standard. And then it will jump to 5 up once you jump like 4 points ahead. What is it when I'm 5 and you're... Yeah, okay. So as the aggressor is above, it jumps down or up 1. If the target is above, it'll stay pretty static. What your tabletop channel will cover, like, will you be uploading full battles or do heavily edited content? Franny Boy, for the most part, my YouTube channel for that will cover a lot of how-tos. Like, hey, here's how you play this game. Quick edited videos that are like anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes long, depending on the game. And then I will do bat reps. What I'm going to do, though, is like the Patreon or however I set up the paywall is going to be, hey, that's me streaming, playing the game. Those are the battle reports, stuff like that, that I don't need to. If I make it so that that's content I have to regularly put on the channel, it's very, very, very demanding, because I also will maintain my main channel, like, first and foremost. But if I do like, hey, you know what? The Patreon gets you monthly bat reps. And what I really want to do is for any game I cover and put like a how to play, I want to put an FAQ in the Patreon. Hey, here's a lot of the things that we encountered that the rules don't really cover. It's a gray area. We reached out to the game creators. Here was their response. Here's all our FAQs. And those I think would just be like on a, I think I would make those like a $1 thing. Hey, for $1 a month, this Patreon unlocks all of my FAQs, so you can see all the FAQs. And that way people can just look at it, read it, cool, got this information, great. I mean, I don't know, I also kind of want to make that free, because I don't really, but I think the real way to make a board game channel nowadays is to have a good amount of content that's behind a pay gate. But the pay gate's got to be fair, right? It can't just be like, hey, you want more rules? Go over there. It's got to be like, hey, if you want just to watch me play, or you want to do stuff like that, like, that's it. Like, that's what Tabletop Tactics does and stuff like that. They have special bat reps that are pay gated and such. Sure, Giovanni, if you have any questions, I have all those codexes. Nowhere to play. Looking for a gaming group. I live in Colorado. Nowhere near me, brother. Okay, let's keep going through these movement rules. Sorry, guys. Okay, so charge and movement is explained in greater detail on page 126. Okay. Who can charge? Not all units can charge. Units that are already engaged in combat, that are fleeing, or that have rallied during the strategy phase of this turn cannot declare a charge or movement. Basically, if you know the rules of Warhammer, all of this will come very secondhand to you. It's a lot of this stuff is just kind of like, I've never played a tabletop game. Who can charge? These are the people that can charge. You know, as someone who's played Warhammer, who can and cannot receive or do charges. Or any unit that has rallied during the strategy phase of this turn cannot declare a charge or make a charge move. Units that are in marching column can declare a charge, but cannot make a charge move. In rarer cases, units may be prevented from either declaring a charge or making a charge move by a special rule or spell effect. Additionally, a unit cannot declare an impossible charge, i.e. one that it cannot possibly complete, either because the enemy lies beyond the charge's maximum possible charge range, or because intervening obstructions make it impossible for the unit to make a charge that would allow it to move into contact. The old rules used to have, like, every block of rules, it would give you an actual scenario. And it's not doing that as much right now. Charging more than one unit. Normally, a unit can only declare a charge against a single enemy. However, should a unit be unable to charge its intended target without making contact with one or more other enemy units, a charge must also be declared against each one of those units. In such cases, each charged unit is considered to be a charge target and must declare and resolve its own charge reactions in order chosen by their controlling player. That's called a multi-charge, and we'll get back to that, I guess, here. Why they broke that out after just talking about it kind of makes no sense. But here are charge reactions. So for those of you that don't, this is something that is kind of going to be very parallel to 40k, but also very different. So charge reactions. So you can choose hold, stand and shoot, or flee. Hold I thought of as brace. The unit opts to stand its ground and receive the charge. This is the usual response from units that does not have missile weapons. That's it. You just stand and you take the charge. That's it. Fleeing units obviously cannot hold, and units already engaged in combat when charged must hold. And stand and shoot. If a unit is armed with a missile weapon and can draw a line of sight to the charging unit, it may declare that it will attempt to stand and shoot. Measure the distance between the two units. If the distance is less than the movement characteristic of the charging unit, the charged unit is unable to raise its weapons in time and must either hold or flee instead. So, if the distance is less than the movement characteristic of the charging unit. So if my unit movement is 5 and I'm at 6 inches I can stand and shoot. If my enemy's movement is 5 and they are 6 inches away from me, I can stand and shoot. If their movement is 5 and they are 4 inches away from me, or even just 5 inches away from me, I cannot stand and shoot. It's implied that they are too close to me for me to draw my bowstring or pull up my matchlock, whatever it is. What's up, man? How you doing, Kurt the Hurt? Otherwise, even if the distance between the two units is greater than the maximum range of the charge unit's weapon, the charge unit will shoot at the charging unit. So if my unit can only shoot 36 and they're 38 inches and they're charging and they can somehow make that fucking charge, I can shoot at them. This is very rare that you would be outside of your own maximum distance unless you are fast cav that typically has shorter range bows or stuff like that. Or like a sling, matchlock pistols, whatever it is. Once this shooting has been resolved, we should have that charging unit. Page 137. Why is that? Why? Why do you do this? So standing and shooting is a -1 to your ballistic skill. So Overwatch for 40k is you roll your hit dice, and if you hit on a 6 or you hit on a 6. It's a 6. Now, have they changed the ballistic skill here? Okay, no, they haven't. So your ballistic skill is not like it is in 40k. It's like it used to be in 40k in the way it always has been in Warhammer Fantasy. A number correlates to a dice roll. So if you have a ballistic skill of 4, you have a 3-up to hit. That's it. So if I am standing and shooting, it's a -1 to hit. So if my ballistic skill is 4, I'm standing and shooting in a charge, then I have to then I can only hit on a 4-up versus my standard 3-up. It's not a 6 like an Overwatch for 40k. That's a big thing if you're coming from that rule system. It's considered a modifier. That's why it's broken off here. To hit modifiers are moving and shooting, firing at long range, standing and shooting, target behind partial cover, and full cover. So we're standing and shooting, right? We've chosen that as our reaction. We have a -1. Okay. What the fuck? Once this unit has been resolved, or shooting has been resolved, the charge unit will hold and await the charging unit. The charged unit will await, and the charged target will await the charging unit. Charging units are not required to make panic tests. So otherwise, if you would remove a certain amount of models, you do a panic test. You wouldn't have to do it in this case. Now, you can also have the charge reaction to flee. Any unit that is not already engaged in combat may flee as a charge reaction. Units already fleeing must flee when charged. When a unit chooses to flee from a charge, it flees directly away from the charging unit. Otherwise, you'd do a scatter die. Pivot the unit. I don't even know if we should do that anymore for this edition. Pivot the unit about its center, so that it's facing directly away. After pivoting, the unit makes an immediate flee move. And the flee move is 2d6, right? Should a fleeing unit not run far enough, it may be run down and destroyed by the charging unit. So, I can't remember the rundown rules for 40k. But rundown rules in this are brutal. You are KO'd. 29. Running down the foe. Once the charge, I'm kind of jumping all around. If that's okay with you guys, just let me know. Yeah, if you can completely overtake their flee, you can completely kill them. It wipes out the whole unit. They're just hacked to pieces. There's no saves. There's nothing. If I fleed 2 inches and you were 12 inches away from me and I rolled a 14, you are considered destroyed for my charge. So a unit can only stand charge reactions in multiple charging units. A unit can only stand and shoot in response to 1 charge per turn, even if charged by multiple units. Once all charges have been declared, The unit will then hold against the other charging units. If a unit charged by multiple enemy units chooses to flee, it will flee directly away from the enemy unit with the highest unit strength. If a unit strength is just number in the number in the unit. It's not like power level or anything like that. If I've got 4x5, a stack of high elf spearmen, that's a unit strength of 20. It will flee directly away from the enemy unit with the highest unit strength. If 2 enemy units have the same unit strength, randomly determine which unit flees directly away from which one. Okay. Charge moves. Any questions? Any other different rules you want me to jump to? More than happy to jump around, talk about specific things if you guys would like. Just go ahead and let me know in the chat. Also, too, subscribe to this YouTube channel because it's my board game YouTube channel that I've not yet really done anything with, but I started it like 2 days ago. With the charge reactions declared and resolved, it is time to see whether or not the charges are successful. Work through charges one at a time in an order decided by the active player, completing each before moving on to the next. Bound spells, how do they work? Steel beams. Let me read this charge move section, and I'll jump to that. So I'm not going to read all of it. It's just going to paraphrase it because it's very kind of standard edition stuff, right? So determine charge range is you're taking your movement range and seeing if you can do some finagling here, right? Unit's charge range is determined by first making a charge roll. To make a charge roll, roll 2d6 and discard the lowest result. The highest result is the result of the charge roll. If both dice roll the same result, discard either. The result of the charge roll is then added to the unit's movement characteristic to give the unit's charge range. So for example, I roll a 5 and a 1, and my movement range is 5, then I charge 10 inches. With its charge range established, the charging unit makes its charge move. If the charging unit has insufficient movement, the completed charge move is now unable to reach the enemy. Charge move is done like a move. 6. Yeah, duh. Failed charge. So a failed charge is, right, like, so something, let's say that 5 and that, I have a 5-inch movement. I rolled a 5 for my charge, and that thing is 11 inches away, whatever the target is. So I fail the charge, so I move my 10 inches. I just don't I don't go into close combat. That's a charge move. Compulsory move is your fleeing units. Anything that's denoted by like a special rule, it says if you are not in combat, push yourself into combat. That would happen in a compulsory movement phase if it did not say it in the rules. Rules sometimes say, if this unit is not in combat, charge it towards the closest target in the compulsory movement phase. It would have to specifically say in the charge phase in order for you to do it in the charge phase. Those compulsory things are all done in their own phase to keep it nice and neat. Because otherwise you go, well, why did this charge? Why did this charge? You get a little sticky in those remaining moves. So movement in detail, I can go over that. There's basic movement. You just move 4 inches. There's marching. So most units are able to march, allowing them to move rapidly across the battlefield. A marching unit can double its movement characteristic. Whilst marching, a unit can wheel to change direction, but cannot perform any other maneuvers. However, a unit that marched in the movement phase cannot shoot during the shooting phase. And that's really the big thing there. So for spearmen, that's not a big deal. But if you've got something that's a hybrid unit, you lose the ability to shoot with them. Like Lothar and Seaguard, for example. And then there's maneuvers. So here are the maneuvers. There is a wheel and there is a turn. There's moving backwards, moving sideways, redress the ranks, and reform. So those are wheels where you are not making, you're pretty much only turning a little bit like this. And I'll use my phone again to distinguish this. So this is a block. This is a unit, let's just say. So doing this, I'm wheeling, it's fine. Wheeling is the best way of making an alteration to the direction, oopsies, to the direction of the unit facing while still being able to advance. To wheel, the leading edge of the unit moves forward, pivoting around one of the front corners, as shown below. So that that corner basically, it uses this corner over here. I'm going to pivot like this. This corner over here, I'm going to pivot like this to wheel around obstructions. I'm not just going to go like that. It's kind of the same principle, but it allows you to kind of be more precise with your movements, so that you're not just kind of going like, yeah, so my unit kind of just goes like that. You can't, it's harder to measure that kind of thing. When a unit wheels, every model counts as having moved as far as the outside model. Once the wheel is complete, you may use any movement the unit has remaining unless it is charging. A unit can wheel more than once during its move and can alternate between. So, let's say this is an inch. Let's say this is an inch. So that counts as 2 total inches of movement, even though everything over here did not move. Everything over here did, right? So the whole unit counts as having moved whatever that outside unit is. That's how you measure wheels. Now, a turn is different. It's either a 90 or a full 180-degree turn. When a unit turns, all models in complete ranks simply turn on the spot. Any models in incomplete rear rank are moved to the rear of the new formation. When a unit is turned to the face its side or rear, any command models it contains, see page 198, are automatically placed in the new front rank. Yeah, okay, got it. Oh, for a 90-degree turn, for every 90 degree it turns, a unit uses a quarter of its movement characteristic. So, for easy math, we'll choose 8. I can move 8 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and turn 90 degrees. I just used 2 inches, right? So now I've got 6 inches left. So I can turn 90 degrees and then move 6 inches. Or turn 180 degrees and move 4 inches. That's the difference here. It used to cost you an entire movement or half. I get the better way to look at it is like 25% or 50%, one or the other, right? Move backwards. Units can move backwards as well as forwards, but tend to shuffle carefully rather than stride purposely. To represent this, a unit moved backwards must have its movement characteristic. Moving sideways, unit move sideways must have its movement characteristic. And redress the ranks. Units can redress the ranks by moving models to or from their rear ranks to decrease or increase the number of models to their front rank. Yeah, sure. Here's a new invite for you, bro. Oops. Hey guys, make sure you do join the Discord. It's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me and talk about things. The models in the remaining ranks are then rearranged to match the number of models in the front rank and maintain a correct formation. But I think it uses all of it though. Oh, half its movement ranks in order to deduct up to 5 models from its front rank or add up to 5 models to its front rank. That was stupid. It's like so detailed. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever redressed the ranks. Maybe I've seen someone do it once or twice. Reform represents the most complex of maneuvers a unit can perform on the battlefield, but on the tabletop it is quite straightforward. Reforming allows a unit to sacrifice its entire movement in order to both pivot about its center, to change its facing by up to 180 degrees, and to rearrange its ranks and files as required to either change its formation or to adopt a different formation. So this can be the difference between going from a stack of 4x4, right, to 2x8. However you really want to do it. That can be redress the ranks. It just depends on the number of models that are moving to and from. In that case, it costs more movement to move more models. So if I wanted to go from those 4 ranks here of 4 each, it's going to cost my whole movement to put them into 2 rows of 8. But if I wanted to only take my 4x4 and put it to 3x4, or 3 by whatever the fuck, 3 by additional, take those 4 models and put them onto my flanks, it only takes half my movement. It's a lot of shit. But I promise you probably will never even do it. The charge moves we've all talked about. Flank and rear charges are different because it incurs penalties on people. That's it. And it's just about knowing those 45-degree arcs. Unusual situation charging. Yeah, it deals with stuff like what happens when I have to wheel into a charge and stuff like that. Charging a fleeing enemy. We talked about that, how you just ride them down and destroy them. Multi-charging units. Let me go over that real quick. So, When 2 or more units are charging into the same arc of a single enemy, they are considered to move simultaneously, and both units must try to bring the max number of models from both sides into base contact. Meaning, if I have, like, here's the unit I'm charging. So if I'm charging 2 models this direction, or 2 units, I have to make sure that that I can fit as much in between both. I can't go, okay, well, I'm going to go, this one model, this one unit is going to be like 80%, and I'm just going to have one model from this guy here. No, it's got to be equally split between the two. Multiple charge targets. A unit may be unable to charge its intended target without making contact with another enemy. In such cases, the charging unit must declare a charge against all the enemy units it will contact, and each is able to declare its own charge reaction. If the charging unit is unable to align itself to all of the units once combat has been made, those enemy units... God, this is a hell of a sentence. Those enemy units the charging unit cannot align against must themselves align against it. Charging unit counts as having made a disordered charge against any unit that was obliged to align against it. God damn. Thank you very much, Eagle. Appreciate that, dude. Let's jump over to balance spells. What did that cover pretty much everything you wanted to know about movement and line of sight SP? You know what? We'll probably just go, rather than going through these phases, going through that, go back over here to spells. I know it sounds very convoluted, but really the rules, it just tells you more. What I think I like about Warhammer Fantasy rules over 40k rules is it tells you more of the circumstances and instances in which you encounter weird things in the rules, and you really don't use the majority of them. Okay, I know that there's a rule that exists for that, but I'm never going to use it. Versus 40k is like, yeah, you just move forward. Kill them. And then you're like, well, what happens if this happens? Well, we have another supplemental rule book on that, and that's called City Fight. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't know what to do now. Like, it's really easy to get lost in 40k rules over Warhammer Fantasy rules, and it's a far denser rule book. And it's wild to me that that's the case. The psychology of war. Break tests. This is all combat. Multiple units in combat. Combat phase. Where's the magic phase? Did they end this? Breath weapons. I've got all that kind of stuff. Fight an extra rank.
A resplendent offering.
Hey, thank you very much. I don't know how much you did. Let me take a look. I got like 50 tabs. So, hey, Elrath. Donated 1,000 bits, dude. Thank you so much, bro. That's very, very kind of you, man. But I'm going to give this about a half hour more. We don't need to go through all these rules. Because I'd like to do this more skim down. Or if I did do like a full reading of the rule book, I would just do like ASMR style. Like, hey, I'm going to fully read the rule book for you. Audiobook style. Word for word. Here it is. Here's chapters. Jump to every relevant point. Yeah, 100% diversion. I'm trying to get to the bounce spells here for you, bro. And if you have specific, like, hey, I want to know more about Empire, let me know. I have that rule book here. Breath weapons. Okay, so that's not in these special rules. Okay. Unusual formations. Oh, we all know that. That's going to demonetize me, man. Damn it. I didn't even notice that was up. That's going to demonetize me. Oh, man, I hate you, YouTube. Oh. That's been up for like a good amount of time too, I bet. Being a YouTuber is not fun. Those are the two that you really need. That's all you really need. And then the Boots of Brilliance. Here. There you go, Ethan. There's the Boots of Brilliance for you. Dude. Yeah, hopefully I caught it in time. Okay. Are you still here? Improve your life now. I don't think there's any special rules for bound spells that was any different than it ever has been. Bound spells. Found it. Some models have bound spells, which may be contained within a magic item or given by a special rule, and which they can cast in an unusual manner. If a power level is given, this is added to the result of the casting roll to give the casting result. If no power level is given, nothing is added. The result of the casting roll is itself the casting result. Superfluous sentence. I'll get to that in a second. When casting a bound spell, there is no risk of a miscast or a chance of perfect invocation. Meaning you can't supercast it with doubles or undercast it, right? It's always gonna it's going to go off. You may attempt to dispel a bound spell as usual. Magic items that dispel or destroy spells work as normal against. Not miscast. I'm sorry. It's not going to go off. You can't have it blow up in your face. What I meant. Magic items that dispel or destroy spells work as normal against bound spells. When dispelling a bound spell, there is no risk of being outclassed in the art. See page 110. A model can only cast a single bound spell per phase. Possessing a bound spell does not make a model a wizard. Does that answer what questions you had, or would you like me to go more into casting spells? One thing I will say is this is just has to do with the British syntax of writing. It's kind of similar to like the German syntax of writing. German syntax of writing documentation is just screeds of information. I used to work for a German company that was a software company, and let me tell you, that fucking documentation was crazy. British is very wordy and redundant, and things that would better be served with a semicolon are served with a whole nother sentence that confuses you. Because a semicolon is a redefinition of the previous statement, right? Like, I can't even think of it. It's so hard for me to think of like a random semicolon situation off the top of my head. Example of semicolon usage. I ordered a cheeseburger for lunch. Life's too short for counting calories, right? Like, it's not necessarily that I ordered a cheeseburger for lunch can be re-paraphrased to life's too short for counting calories. It's what's the subtext of the statement. It gives you a better understanding, right, of the tone in which was said sometimes. Or it can be a straight up redefinition of something. Martha has gone to the library. Her sister has gone to play soccer. Above are each made of two complete grammatically correct sentences glued together. I don't like that. I don't like the second one. Was it a backup software company? Did we work for the same fucking company? But what other questions you guys have? We'll give it about 15 more minutes, and then I'll probably shut the stream down. You work for Nintendo? What are you doing here, man? We'll switch over to Baldur's Gate 3 and kind of reconfigure the stream and everything like that. And I'll end this stream. I'll start a new one. I don't want people that want to watch this get like, hey, what the fuck? If you guys have specific, can you tell the profile of the mortar? Yeah, sure. I can't show it to you, unfortunately. Bring it up, though. But what I can do is show you the old rules to help you get like a direct juxtaposition between the two. It is not incorrect. Oops. Oops. Fantasy. I have multiple editions of every fucking book. The Empire. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Nothing but you. They both have independent profiles they would act in different order with. But if you are on a mount, it doesn't matter if you're on a horse or a dragon. You can use all of your magic items and armors and everything. What happens is, being on a mount is an inferred save benefit. So it's a +1 for a mount, a +1 for a mount with barding, stuff like that. But your mounts act independently of you, depending on what the situation is in combat and so on and so forth. Like breath attack from a mount is a different thing than from, it has its own kind of situation you'd go ahead and do. It's not considered an extension of the rider. So I can show you this because this is just the old one. No big deal here. So let's go to the mortar here, and I can give you the a direct juxtaposition. Okay, core. It's a special, I think. I can just look up the beastmen if you'd like. Actually, I don't think I can. I have the Forces of Order. Turn's got all the fucking beastmen. Let me see if he's around. Are you busy? If he's around, I'll have him come in and ask. I haven't looked at anything like that, unfortunately. Actually, you know what? Ravening Horde should have it. We'll take a look at that in a sec then for you, bro. It does. Oh no! Oh no! I can't show you that. It truly wouldn't have mattered. Like I said, I just don't think I can show it to you because it has my name all over it as a watermark. And like I said, I'm sure a company would want to have the best representation out. Okay, Beastmans of the Bray Herd. So we'll go to this for you. 95. Unfortunately, like I said, I cannot show you the actual thing, but we can go ahead and look. Could you just fuck me here? Come on. Come on. Come on, buddy. You and I both know you were going to get the chicken. Okay. That. Cool. Great. Just the slowest fucking thing in the world. There's something up with these PDFs. Thank you very much, man. Have a good one, bro. Yeah, the scans won't be out yet because this is just the content creators who have that were given it by them. So pre-orders came up yesterday, right? And if you were able to get something, you were able to get something. Good for you. Things are sold the fuck out for the most part now. But they'll be out in 2 weeks. So, I mean, just sit tight. If you really want to get access to something, you can join the Discord. You can ask me any questions you want. I will definitely get you the information. I'm still trying to get the mortar up for you, my dude. This PDF is just slow as shit for some reason. Could you just close this, close this, close this, close that. Playing everything today. So this is the I think you guys can see the old one, right? Yeah. So this is the old mortar, right? So it is a 7 toughness, 3 wounds. That's the mortar itself, but we go off of the ballistic skills, how we get the shooting capabilities of it, and it has mortar shells. We can jump to that rule if you'd like. Really excited to hear about this. This is not going quick. Please don't tell me it works faster in Edge. I'm going to shit a fucking human brick if that's the case. Wow. Well, yeah. Moving. All right, man. This is just like, it's just, I have opened it and I'm looking at it and it will not jump to any portion. Oh. I should just print these out and then cut them and put them into a book. Oh ho! There we go. Griffin's Great Cannon Mortar. Aha! Thank God. Jesus Christ, dude. Okay. What would you like to know about the mortar? The base size is 50 by 75 for the war machine itself, and the crew is 25 by 25. It lost 1 point of toughness, and it lost 5 points of worth. So it's no longer 100 points, it's 95 points. Is that what you'd like to know? The template that it uses. Mortar in the heart of it. I didn't get the difference for close order and open order. What did you mean? Special skirmisher, mortar and hand weapons, war machine. It doesn't show me. From what I remember, the mortar used a 3-inch blast template, and the great cannon used a direct line. But I don't see where that tells me. I mean, this says special shell, mortar shells, right? Let me take a look. The shooting phase. Long range, setting and shooting, cover modifiers, target cover to hit modifiers. Roll to wound, determining armor value, more than one save, ward saves. Chilia Stalia, fast dice rolling. One sec, improve your life. I have that over here. I'm taking a look at it for you. Casualties. Fighting attacks. It's close combat, so it's not going to give me the panic attacks. It's at multiple wounds, automatic hits, shooting in combat, shooting with more than one rank, shooting from a hill, volley fire. I'm trying just to get to the top of this fucking PDF to see if it shows like, oh, here's your mortar shell shit. Because mortar shells in this have different rules. Ecology of War, panic attacks. Oh, you know what? There's command groups. There basically is rules for chariots, heavy chariots, for unit types. So let me see if artillery is in here. Infantry, regular infantry. War machines. Behemoths, monsters, monstrous creatures. Of course. Why wouldn't we go from war machines to... Yeah, cool. In terms of war machine, a double with weapons, greater detail in own section in 222. Okay, war machines, bolt throwers. Okay, yeah, so here it is. Stone throwers, fire throwers, organ guns, mortars. Cool. Fuck. Fine. Fuck. Took forever. Fuck. Mortars. So, their range is 12 to 48 inches. Their strength is 6. Their AP is -2, -3, whichever one. Because they have Armor Bane, 1. Notes, this weapon does not use its crew's ballistic skill. Instead, it shoots like a stone thrower, using bombardment special rule. This weapon uses a 5-inch blast template. Okay, so I was wrong. Not 3, but 5-inch blast template. And the black powder misfire table. The multiple wounds D3 special rule implies that order only to a single model whose base lies underneath the central hole of the blast template. I just spat on the book. This is how you ruin a perfectly good book. Fucking gerbil. It's like a juicy spit too. God damn it, man. I gotta call Games Workshop. Hey guys, ruin the book you gave me. Any way you guys can just send me a gun and I'll shoot myself. Bombardment, cumbersome, move or shoot, multiple wounds, D3. Those are your rules. Giovanni. Sorry for that, man. That took forever. I just don't remember navigating much of this. Okay, so you wanted to hear about close order and open order ranks. Limited endurance, flea move, terrain movement, oddball stuff. Fall back in good order, give ground, lone models. Is oh, coffee. I thought you mean coffee. Oh god, dude. Do you want open tight ranks and open ranks? So you mean like a gap in between your ranks? Is that what you mean? Like quote unquote skirmish style versus tight orderly ranks? Let me see. Unfortunately, I'm jumping around here. Just move through ranks. Turn went to Poland, right? To go visit his wife. And he read the book 5 times, he said. Because it's a 13-hour flight. So he was like, well, I got to know the best. I got to know all of it. So he read it a bunch of times back to back. The problem with playing this game through so many types of games or editions is that you lose it, man. Like I can't. It's hard to keep them straight. Also included when it comes to give ground and order. Okay, so I'll go back to that then. Let me read the give ground stuff and you tell me if it falls into here. And there is a whole portion on reorganizing your ranks, like redress ranks. And I did go through already. Reform and redress ranks, those two. But none of them say anything about loose ranks. So give ground and fall back in good order. The rules will often call for units to give ground or fall back in good order. Most often, they will do this after losing a round of combat or after suffering heavy casualties from enemy shooting. A unit that gives ground does so reluctantly, maintaining its formation whilst attempting to put a bit of much needed distance between itself and the enemy. When a unit gives ground, it moves 2 inches directly away from the enemy or units that caused it to give ground, without turning, pivoting, or otherwise changing its facing in any way, stopping immediately should it come into contact with another unit or terrain, or if continuing to move would bring it within 1 inch of an enemy. Yeah, Roman's like, fuck this shit, dude. Fall back in good order. When a unit falls back in good order, it is beating a hasty retreat, but has not yet lost all courage and is able to quickly rally its fighting spirit. A unit that falls back in good order moves exactly like a fleeing unit, with the following exceptions. When making a flee roll, a unit that falls back in good order rolls 2d6 and discards the lowest result. If both dice roll the same result, discard either. A unit that falls back in good order automatically rallies at the end of its flee move. Different, right? Flee move, just you roll to see if you keep fleeing or if you rally. Was that what you wanted? Oh. Different formations. The rules in this section deal with units in close order formation. Units in different formations may move differently. These formations are explained in greater detail on page 182. There you go, bro. No, I got you. I got what you need. Adopting and changing formations. This is what you want, right? A unit arrayed in an open order formation closely resembles one in close order formation. Sorry, I have saliva buildup from this fucking energy drink. Let me just do this. Get rid of that. Do a bit of this. All right. The key difference lie in how the unit moves and interacts with terrain. As with a unit in close order, a unit in open order consists of two or more models that are arranged in base contact with each other, edge to edge and front to corner, is as shown in 18.1. That right here is open order. Focus. All models in such unit must face the same direction as described on page 100. In addition, all models in the unit must be arranged in formation that consists of one or more horizontal rows, called ranks, and a number of vertical rows, called files. As far as possible, there must be the same number of models in each rank, where this is, it's just basically saying you can't fucking have jankety shit. Open order units tend to adopt a looser formation, where the warriors within a close order formation will fight shoulder to shoulder, protecting one another with shield and spear. Warriors in an open order formation fight in a more individual manner, striking and pairing with. So this used to be called skirmisher. An open order is different than. There we go. Oh, so skirmish formation is its own thing. Okay, I was going to jump down. Okay, sorry about that. So where's an open order? Blah, 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 blah. Whatever the case, open order units are far more maneuverable than close order units. To represent this, units arrayed in the open order formation have the following abilities. Quick turn. After moving, unless it's charged, marched, or fled, a unit that is in an open order formation may pivot about its center to charge its. An open order formation may pivot about its center to change its facing by up to 90 degrees. And it says that, so I assume it's not going to cost it any movement. Whereas before, remember, turning 90 degrees would cost it 25% of its movement. Units in open order formation do not become disrupted by difficult or dangerous terrain and unit shape. As with units in close order formation, the shape of a unit in open order is also important, as such units gain bonuses in certain situations. Based upon this, such units can be raised to be in combat order or marching column. Open order or combat order. An open order formation that is wider than it is deep, i.e. that has more models per rank than file, or that is square, i.e. has the same number of models per rank as per file, is said to be in combat order. Such units are able to, can I spell the fucking thing again? Such units are able to count a rank bonus in certain situations. Rank bonus. If a unit in open order formation is wide enough, it can claim a rank bonus of +1 for each rank behind the first, up to the maximum determined by its troop type. How many models a rank must contain to claim a rank bonus, as well as the maximum rank bonus a unit can claim, is determined by its troop type as described on page 104 and 188. Certain special rules may increase the rank bonus a unit can claim beyond its max normally allowed by its troop type, as described on page 104. Marching column. A unit that is deeper than it is wide, i.e. has more models per file than rank, is said to be in marching column. A marching column cannot claim a rank bonus and cannot make a charge move, but it may triple its movement characteristic when marching. So the difference here between open and close order doubles, open order triples in a march. From what I remember, I just read right earlier. Okay, back to 123. Marching. Well, it's marching a unit converted that is marching movement shooting to. Oh, okay. No, it is just. A marching unit can double its movement characteristic because it's talking about a close order unit doubles, an open order unit triples. Oh, there's more. Don't thank me. It's not over yet, baby. Okay, that was open order formation. Now we have skirmish formation. Do you want to know about skirmish formation? Skirmish formation is basically Warhammer 40k. Everything has to be within 1 inch coherency. And they can move and pivot and churn and change, do whatever they want to do. Well, not necessarily. Open and skirmish formation are two different formation types. There's open order formation. So there's closed order formation, open order formation, and skirmish formation. But so can I change the formation from open to closed, or it depends on the unit? All units must adopt a formation. As mentioned previously, the types of formation a unit can adopt are indicated by a special rule of the same name as the formation type. Models with more than one special rule may choose their formation during deployment. It may change it and adopt a different formation by reforming during the game. So, yeah, okay. So you would redress, you'd reform, okay. So reform would cost you your entire movement to go from an open to a close or close to an open. And yeah, sorry, it's super convoluted. It probably is because I'm jumping all over the place like a dipshit. So then let me see. Characters, standard bearers, command groups. Okay, let me just jump to cavalry, light cav. Split profile, cavalry support. Most models, but I mean, system 101. In terms of versus, you listen otherwise special rules. I'm trying to see like, okay. Heavy cav, see light cav. Cavalry support, see light cav entry. Most rider may be able to reach a command to strike the foe that the mount cannot. Should a cavalry model be able to make a supporting attack, only the rider can attack, not the mount. Huh. I don't even know what supporting attacks are. So maybe it's on the actual... Maybe it's on the actual army book. Guess what? I don't have any fucking army books. I have these stupid fucking PDFs. Oh god, it's... Ooh, over there. Turin got all the books. Turin got every single book. I just got the PDFs.
An earnest disciple.
Thank you very much for making the switch over to Twitch. Okay, Pistoliers. Let's see. Okay. So the special rule for Pistoliers, for example, here says countercharge, fast cav, fire and flee, impetus, open order, and skirmishers. So they can either be in open order or in skirmish formation. That's pretty fucking cool. Same thing with Outriders. I kind of like that. That's sick. What's up, Proper Vibes? How you doing, dude? I like that it's not so. It used to just be okay. You've got light cav light cav is a skirmish cav is what it used to be, right? Not like that anymore. So Empire Knights have close order, countercharge, first charge, swift stride. So they can only be in close order. That's pretty cool, dude. I like that. That's a really cool way to represent that. Any other questions you guys have for specific rules or a specific army rules you want to know about? Again, I do have those PDFs. It just takes some time. Is the gentleman who was curious about Beastman still here? I have Beastman up still if you want me to go through that. Appreciate it, dude. We'll be switching over to Baldur's Gate 3 in just a little bit. I'm going to shut the stream down for that, though. Well, I don't even know if... I might just call it a day. I'm pretty tired. Does Empire still have Luminarch? Yes, they do. No one lost anything, Murgler. If anything, they gained stuff. There was a change to their rules, but no one lost anything. Here, I will go to page 13. Should hopefully have it. Do you want the rules for it? I can't show you the rules, but we can go through them. There might be a mount though. I gotta jump. Celestial Hurricanum, Luminar Kaish. Give me a sec. This thing just takes forever. Griffin's Great Cannons, Hellstorm Rocket Battery. Okay, let's jump to 16. Here you go. Here's the old Luminarch. Carl Franzia, Malik and all. Empire Man Magic items. Okay, so we had to go back up. Oh, God, damn it. Let's go to 11. It's probably going to be on our character mounts. War Altar of Sigmar. 10. It's a PDF, man. Get it to fucking gather. This supercomputer here can't deal with processing through a PDF. It's like, I don't know how you want me to do this, buddy. I can't do it. Okay, missile, flatulence, Americans. Oh my gosh. Witch Hunters, Master of the Nightly Order. Oh my god. I'm gonna regret that. I know I'm gonna regret that. Where is this thing? I could have swore I saw it earlier. I see the War Altar of Sigmar. Luminarch. Oh, you know what? I bet you they did get rid of the Luminarch Haish. So at this point in time, wizards are becoming something. They aren't. The College of Magic isn't set up yet. And Haish is a Wind of Magic. So I totally forgot about that. Yeah, they probably don't have the Luminarch. They probably just have the War Altar. So for example here. Oh, great. Zooming in caused a fucking meltdown here. A Wizard Lord is a level 3 wizard. A Master Mage is a level 1 wizard. Every wizard knows spells from one of the following lores of magic: Battle Magic, Demonology, Dark Magic, Elementalism, Illusion, or Necromancy. So Oh, okay. Yeah, Merler. You know what? I don't even have a table of contents where I can quickly check it. I have this like jank ass PDF that is just taking forever when I do every little thing, man. I'm sorry, dude. This one I can just kind of go, oh, let's go all the way to the top. I don't know what's causing this PDF to have such an issue. I think it's I don't have a full permissions on it. But like you can do stuff like, so the border princes are now wrapped into Bretonia. Bretonia has all the border print stuff now. And that's kind of fucking cool. Turn is not responding. I think he might be streaming or doing something, but he would know for sure. Because he's playing those guys. Empire. Let me just go to the last 2 pages real quick just to double check. I don't think it's here. Just because of I think it's because of the timeline. Remember though, that Old World won't just take place statically in this timeline. They will add and go all over the place. Mason Hellstorm, Sword of Justice, Enchanted Items, Arcane Items, Magic Standards, Magic Armor. I don't think so, bud. Sorry, man. Well, What's up, General Vibes? How you doing, man? Yeah. Celestial Arcanum and the because again, there's no College of Magic setup. All those things that they would typically pull that stuff from is just not in the game yet, in the game world. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, proper vibes. So Bretonia got more love in Old World. So Bretonia never got a 7th or an 8th army book. So it got a full actual revamp now. There's a loose little bit of lore. Not a whole bunch of stuff has changed with Bretonia. It's mainly like has to do more with the border princes and how that works. Yeah, it's basically expanded border prince lore. I know you are, General Vibes. Everyone loves me talking about that old Warhammer action. Who is the main target of the old world? What do you mean? Hombre. Brother Rana. Brother Lizard? The main target is Empire, Tomb Kings, and Bretonia, I'd say. All right, Diversion, thanks for jumping in, dude. I've been digging the BG3 videos too, to be clear, but just nice to come back home. Come back home, you feel me? Yeah, dude. Make sure you check out the board game channel I will be doing soon. Ooh, you did not get that. This link. I will be doing all my board game stuff on that channel now. But any other questions here, guys, before we... you know what? I was going to just stop stream and go to Baldur's Gate 3, but I think I'm just going to stop stream for the day, relax, and kind of like enjoy the rest of the weekend. And then I'll come in and hit it hard. That's that channel I just made. Yeah. It's nothing, I haven't made any, I made it literally like a day or two ago. I have to make the creative and everything. It'll have a lot of really cool stuff on there, but basically it's just going to be how to play certain board games. Do you really want me to play some BG3? I can play some BG3. But see, there's just not a lot of people watching. And I don't want... I could jump onto my save of BG3 and progress myself through the save, but I'd really kind of like to... Maybe just like to kind of relax. We can theory craft. That actually might be better. And we can talk about how... yeah, let's do that. Let's pivot over to some theory crafting. Oh, new players, old ones, casual gamers, competitives. I'd say it's definitely old ones. Did you play 8th edition, Hombre? You too, Ethan. Have a good one, brother. You got a long time to answer. Since 6th edition into AOS. Okay. So you've played 6th edition just like I have. You've played 7th and 8th, and you've seen the rules kind of evolve. A good comparison was basically 6th and 8th edition combined to make this edition. So it's definitely not a casual game. It's definitely going to be a hurdle for new players. I think it's going to cater more to old players coming back into this, competitives, and new players that are, I think, a little bit more on the hardcore side, right? Like, you can pick up Age of Sigmar's rule set very quickly. It's super straightforward. It's very streamlined. You can pick up 40K's rule set. It's a little bit more difficult, but I'd say this is the most difficult system to understand because there's so many rules that they're going to throw at you. Aloha, what's up, man? Looking for tips on how to handle turns and okay, Disco, give me a second. We'll switch over to that. I'm going to shut this stream down though. I want this to have its own encapsulated video so that people that want to know about this stuff can. I think if you're coming to the old world from 8th edition, you're going to feel like you're right at home. If you're coming to this from Age of Sigmar, I think you might be a little overwhelmed. And not overwhelmed in a bad way, but overwhelmed in the sense that like, wow, there's a lot of rules here. How am I going to get this straight? I think more than any system that Games Workshop's done, you need to have your hands on the models for this. You need to create things to play and try, like even if they're note cards. You need to create a note card that is the standard amount of things, or you use movement trays. Just use empty movement trays to get a feel for how these rules work. Because in 40K, if you want to turn and shoot something, you just pivot the model, you shoot that way. In Age of Sigmar, if you want to do the same thing, you do the same thing. But with this, you have rules that apply to the 45-degree arc of pivoting and turning and wheeling. There's different terms. Pivot is this. Wheeling is this. You go off of the corner, right? And turning is that. You turn a full 90-degree angle. So those things are kind of convoluted. Or maybe not convoluted, but knowing which one of those kicks in, you're going to want a movement tray to cater and move the thing around for you so you can get a sense for it. Reading the rules alongside that at a board, at a table, it doesn't even need to be a big 4x6. I think just having like a quick little surface to try doing some dummy rolls on, to try moving those movement trays around on is going to help you get these rules versus the other systems, which is just like, okay, yeah, this all makes pretty good sense. But then my counterpoint to that is, I think the Warhammer Old World, or Fantasy Battles for that matter, rule system prepares you for the game the best of all these systems. Because when you jump into a circumstance that maybe you don't understand, you've prepared yourself through all the rules. The rules really kind of create the circumstances you're going to come into. Versus 40K is like, you hit a circumstance that you don't really know about, the rules don't really explain it. They hit individual set rules, and you're like, oh crap, I need a third party to rule on this. I think I've very rarely had a third party rule on a Warhammer Fantasy game. It was more like, hey, what's the rule for this? Okay, cool, thank you. Versus, hey, this happened, and then this happened. Which goes first? That one? Okay, cool. Like it's more clarification versus what is the rule. What's up, Zest? How you doing, dude? Any other Warhammer Old World question, bros? Anything you guys want to ask? Knights are sick, dude. The fucking Pegasus Knight is amazing looking. Absolutely. Yeah, again, I just think if you're gonna know coming in, if you yourself are gonna feel like, oh, feels just like the good old days. You're gonna sit down, look at the rules. Line of sight has changed. There's now open, close, and skirmish formation orders that every single unit will have. It'll say in their special rules, this is a close order, this is a close and open, this is an open and a skirmish, whatever it is. It's not just simply, hey, light cav is skirmish cav, or these units of Shadow Warriors are skirmish units. There's probably going to say open order and skirmish on it. What other big rules have changed? I don't know all the rules yet to tell you which ones have. I mean, you guys, I opened the rule book here today. Listen, strange women lying in ponds, distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. I love that movie. On second thought, let us not go to Camelot. It is oftentimes a silly place. Well, consider this, man. General vibes. Tomb King's got a huge 7th edition revamp. So all their sculpts, well, yeah, they're not 2024 sculpts. They're still very recent sculpts to the more recent sculptors within Games Workshop. Big long armory for every faction. What do you mean? Those are still here. It just, if it doesn't have an arcane journal out yet, it doesn't have its full list, is basically what you should think of it as. There's only 2 arcane journals, and they are both Tomb Kings and Bretonnia. But all the newer models for Tomb Kings are beautiful. The War Sphinx, stuff like that, the stuff that you've seen in Total War Warhammer, those are all the newest sculpts. I will say though, like the chariots, like those stupid hooves on those horses, those are kind of chitty, chintzy as it were. I do hope. I think every High Elf player agrees with me that they redo the High Elf Spearmen. The High Elf Spearmen, Archers, and White Lions are the 3 oldest sculpts in the army. What is the twist this campaign? What do you mean? Oh, the Bone Dragon looks. You want to see the bone? I mean, I've got the Bone Dragon, but it's not put together. I have the box behind me. That thing right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shut this stream down, and we're going to switch things over on, we'll just do it on Twitchy Poo. So if you want to do some Baldur's Gate theory crafting, go ahead and switch on over to Twitch. I'll be doing it over there. We're just going to have some quick little fun with that. We'll talk about how to do a Barded, but if you guys have any questions about the rule set, anything you want to know, anything like that I didn't answer, just go ahead and let me know in the comment section below if you're watching this after the fact. You can ask me on the Discord pinned over here that I've put into the chat. What else in Bretonnia to start into the hobby? If you've never played Warhammer at all, general vibes, play the High Elves because they have uniform ways of painting. You're just going to paint everyone. Do your gray seer, you're going to contrast, you're going to do this and that and this. If you paint Bretonnia, you can just uniformly paint all the knights, but you're probably going to want to paint the knights in their own heraldry, which means every single knight has a different color scheme, and that is a lot to ask of a new player. That is sick, Disco Hobbit. What's my Twitch? I just copied it into chat. Its Twitch is just Hein Spartacus. Oh, 40k army is fashion mode time. Yeah, see, like the Sisters of Battle are so damn badass. Maybe they did. I mean, you can do like the errantry knights. You can do now. So now you can do that. You can do the Border Princes errantry knights, or like fallen knights. You can do one of those 3, which is off of the standard heraldry. Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's also different time in the setting, right? Things are a little bit more unified. You're pulling from specific lords who would have the same heraldry, versus the Knights of the Realm pulls from lords from different. It pulls from the individual knights from different realms, from different things. Like, oh, this is the Bastogne knight. This knight's over here from Paravon. Like, it's all these fucking guys all over the place. Versus this timeline's a little bit more. Paravon goes to war over here with Paravon knights in the knight of that realm. So my problem with the Imperial Guard, or my problem with the Sisters of Battle, is they're so sick, right? I think my favorite army is Blood Angels, but right behind them is the Sisters of Battle, and the problem is I can either paint 50 or 60 or so, depending on how I do my Blood Angels, right? Or like 90 or 80 Sisters of Battle. And damn, that's a lot, man. That's just too much. It's because the Sisters of Battle are such good looking detailed models that I don't want to like slap chop shit shop it. But I don't like, okay, it's a black, they're black, and they've got the red. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of those usage of colors versus, okay, Blood Angels. My Blood Angels are the Carmine, not the Carmine Blades, the ones with black. it's all red armor, black trim on the shoulder pads, and black helmets. And that's not too bad, right? That's easy. But dude, the brotherhood, or not the sisterhood that I was doing, Ebon Chalice, it's rough. It's rough. Oh, black robes. But then you want maroon on the inside of the robes, and you want red sleeves, but you also kind of want the white on all this filigree over here. They've also got the black, they've got the red drapes on their whatever the fuck at their waist. It's like, dude, there's so many colors, and that's, I mean, it's up there. Here's my last sister battle that I painted. Where the fuck are you? My sissy B. There she is. There. That was my sister battle. My white scar, as you can see, is super chunky, so I have to repaint her helmet, and I also have to clean up these lines. So I put this on here, and I was like, all right, I got to go buy a new white scar because that's chunky as shit. But that's the last sister battle I painted. No, just straight up Blood Angels with the successor chapter that is still following the Blood Angels rules. Yeah, I mean, I've been painting for years, Disco. Years and years and years. Let me see if I have. Last model I painted is over in another room. As image. Here. Oh, no. Well, it's just a haft. Here. There you go. I mean, this is so blown in. There you go. Doesn't seem like an updated picture. I've highlighted this. No, that's, yeah, I've highlighted all that. This one is more updated. See, there's a highlighting on the hooves, on the skin too. The beard. That's what I was doing before I stopped mid-year last year. I had my brother's wedding, then I had the launch of D4, the launch of BG3. I just couldn't put the time into painting again. Now, because I was gonna go do I was doing Slaves to Chaos. I'll be honest, man, I'm kind of over 40K. I played so many years of 40K. And I just don't really have much desire to play 40K anymore. I think it's because 40K just feels so sweaty. And I really like the way people approach Age of Sigmar over 40K. It just feels, not necessarily that it feels casual, it just doesn't feel like, so let me ram it down your throat. And on top of it, my biggest problem with 40K is that the fluff has blown it out of control. Why the fuck am I going to play the Space Marines anymore, which are my favorite army since I was 12? Why am I going to play the Space Marines anymore when I read a book and it's Ragnar Blackmane just slicing and dicing? He's got a squad, just a squad, and they are ripping up a whole entire building filled with orcs. And then I go to play the tabletop and Poxwalkers just cap my Space Marines like they're nothing. And that is the most frustrating thing to playing Space Marines, where it's like, for the times in between the tabletop that you're playing, you're reading lore, you're consuming lore, and then you can't. So it just kind of like, it kind of just miffs me. Whereas I play Age of Sigmar, I was like, yeah, people die in droves for the slaves to chaos. I'm like, cool, yeah, fine. You don't walk into a game with the mindset that your guys are going to just conquer. Like, oh, Bretonnians slaughtered to a man, but we survived with 3 left. Cool, makes sense. I'm on board. It's why I like playing Sisters of Battle. I play Sisters of Battle. They lose a bunch. Fine with me. Plays like the army's supposed to play. Like, Sisters of Battle lore, every time you read a story with the Sisters of Battle, it's like, yeah, they were slaughtered to a sister, but they stayed on the banner at the very end, and they took the banner from the corpses of all the slain sisters, but by God did they win. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, you're right, they did. And Spaceman's, it's like, we are the Emperor's chosen. 100 of us served and fought and lived, and 2 died. We harvested the brother's progeny gland. Like, oh, okay. These guys seem pretty fucking good. And you get in the tabletop and they're very not good, depending on what you're playing, right? But I'm super stoked. I didn't think I was going to be stoked for Old World. I thought I was going to be like, yeah, okay, I'll play Old World. And then I got to look at it more. I'm like, goddamn cool. So I am now one of Games Workshop's content creators, so I'll be getting access to a bunch of stuff ahead of time, and I'll be posting it on this channel as I get certain things, but the majority of that big coverage will be on the board game channel, as I've said before, guys, so make sure you do check that. What do you mean Game Lacks Elves? The elves are here. Your main knowledge of AOS is Vermintide. You mean your main knowledge of the end times was Vermintide. All right, guys. Yeah, I think we're just going to kind of end it for today. I'll throw some theory crafting into the Discord of stuff I want to do. For those that are here right now that do like some Baldur's Gate 3, here's the question. So I'm going to do a best starter build for Baldur's Gate 3, and it's going to be a Bardadin. Would you like to see a 2-level Paladin, 10-level Sword Bard, or a 6-level Paladin, 6-level Lore Bard? The difference is, do you want to cast more spells, or do you want to do more melee damage? That's the distinction. What would you guys like to see? Go ahead and let me know right now in chat as I set up our raid, because we're going to shut down the stream here a little earlier today. More damage? I think for new players coming to the game, FGC, if you're brand new to the Baldur's Gate, and I think majority of players, I mean, as denoted by Larian's analytics, Paladin is the most played class, by and large. But playing a Bard Paladin enables you to do nearly everything in the game safely. You can cast spells, you can pick locks, you can pick pockets, you can do conversations, you can do melee damage, you can wear heavy armor, you can use shields, you can use two-handed weapons, you can use pole arms, you can do everything with a Bardadin. It's like the ultimate hero class, right? Okay, I'm down to do it. I don't have any builds like that on the channel, and I think it's a super strong build. Exactly, right? Like, and I think if you're brand new to it and you're like, oh man, this is really kind of, I'm not really sure, you can just talk your way through all of it. Really? As a new player, the Bard can be overwhelming? Why? There's so much versatility, there's almost too much versatility. You know, though, I think the problem is, and this comes into my skill tier list video I'm going to do, which is, hey, here's like the all the skills broken up into tiers, and really it comes down to like Arcana, History, and Nature are like 3 skills you could never touch and be fine. Don't ever use Animal Handling because you're just going to use it to speak with animals. Like, there's a lot of things that like you would want to use as a role play of the character, but you don't interact with enough in the game. Nature is a really good example. Animal Handling is a good example that you might, I put Animal Handling on my Beastmaster Ranger, but I have Speak with Animals as a Beastmaster Ranger, and I never used Animal Handling because Animal Handling is a conversational skill if you don't have Speak with Animals. If you have Speak with Animals, you just talk to the fucking animal and you use conversational skills. about customizing their bars by dragging abilities they dislike off and simplifying their own gameplay. Good call, FGC. That's a really, really good point. I'll write that down. Hey, bros. Let's go ahead and get a little raid going here. Thank you guys so much for jumping in here today. Hopefully I answered a majority of your questions. I know that it was kind of convoluted and hard. We jumped around a lot. I was just going to kind of read through stuff, but I figure it just better served if I just answered directly to the people that maybe are veterans and want to know specific things. So let's go ahead and raid. And if you are watching on YouTube, we'll be doing this raid, of course, on Twitch. Watching on YouTube. Oh my God, it's me. Here is the link to Twitch. Do we know anyone playing right now? We don't. Who's streaming Warhammer? Who can we raid? I have like the third most. Here we'll raid Pete the Wargamer. Do I know anyone of these other people on here? LV 2024 warm up live. Get your Warhammer projects. And Pete the Wargamer looks like a fun guy. AC Miniatures. I don't ever heard of that guy. Yeah, we'll definitely take care of that for you guys. Pete the Wargamer. There we go. All right, the raid has started, my bros. I'm going to go ahead and raid this bro so you guys can see all of the Bretonnian models. It looks like he's doing that. And you can have a lot of fun there. Be on the lookout, though, for more of this stuff. I'll be putting Warhammer the Old World content up alongside my Baldur's Gate content, as always. My big focus right now is Baldur's Gate. I'll probably pivot into Homeworld 3 as we get closer to March. I'll pivot into... There's a big game coming out in February. Maybe Skull and Bones. I have to see how the reception of that goes. Has anyone seen Like a Dragon? I might be doing that. I might even do a sponsored video for that. They approached me about it. So does Like a Dragon interest you guys? Let me know. There is a game coming out in February that I cannot think of the name of. I think it's a Yakuza game, yeah. Pete is awesome. Bet it's Kit Batcher. Well, I'm happy to send people his way. These are movies. I want games, brother. All right, well, that's just not going to happen, is it? Yeah, okay, game release. There it is. February. There's something coming in February that I was excited about. Helldivers 2, nope. Skull and Bones. Oh, Skull and Bones is in February. That's right. Last Epoch. That's what we're going to be doing in February. It's Last Epoch. But guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Raid's about to get going, so have a good one. Take care. Wash your hands. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you bros throughout the week. And you guys on YouTube, have a good one as well, and I'll see you